Hello everyone. Today I'm giving you the tour of my real Russian apartment. Now, I'm pretty much behind it. I'm not dead, just to let everyone know. I'm alive. I haven't posted for 6 days because I had terrible food poisoning. But the Russian doctors took care of me and I'm okay now. I'm not completely better, but I'm definitely much better. So I was on an IV drip. But anyway, before I show you my apartment, because it's a real Soviet Russian apartment, I want to show you literally across the street. So my apartment complex is there, but they've literally just finished building a new modern style apartment complex. And I'll show you it right now because it's absolutely massive. There's probably about 6 or 7 more apartments behind those apartments, and at the bottom of those apartments is going to be shops and pharmacies. That's just the way they do it here in Russia. But anyway, let's show you around my apartment. A full cost of the living expenses will be shown at the end of the video, and I'm going to compare them to what I found in England, where I used to live. So yeah, it's a 1-bedroom apartment, and let's show you around. It's so quiet here, honestly. It's so quiet and it's so cool because I feel like I'm living in a forest. As you can see, I'm surrounded by greenery, and there's a park over here. That park there was built within 2 days. Didn't take them very long. But anyway, the Russians are quite efficient. But let's show you my apartment. I literally live in this one. Right there. And here we are. Sorry about the poor lighting, but this is it. This is where you get your mail, just whatever number you are. That's it, just open it with the keys. I'm on the 2nd floor. Look, to some people this might be a shock, but Russia's a raw country. It's a raw country. Still can't get used to the lock. So here we are. Excuse the quality of the video because the lighting is a little bit dark, but this is the entranceway. I'll show you. Unfortunately, there's no light here, but as you can see, there's a shoe rack and some coat hangers. So it's the bang average entranceway, if that makes sense. I'm gonna firstly start with the bathroom, or shall I say the toilet. It's a separate toilet from the bathroom. So this is the toilet, okay? What else would you like me to show you? It's a toilet. It's fully functioning and that's it. So that's the toilet. And this is the bathroom. Excuse the echo, but here's the bathroom. It's again raw with these pipes. They're quite hot. So yeah, very hot pipes. And this little bucket down here is actually what we used 2 weeks ago to actually shower ourselves. So what we'd do is we'd grab the bucket and put it in the bath like that. Fill it up with this shower because basically in Russia they have to repair the pipes for winter or something like that, because we all know how cold it gets in Russia. So they need to turn the hot water off for 2 weeks. So what everyone in Russia does is they have a bucket like this. They fill it up with the shower, put it on the hob in the kitchen, heat it up, carry it back in here, put some cold water into the bucket, and then use this thing to just pour over the head. I never knew about this. So that was one thing that was a bit of a shock to me, because I was like, we have no hot water at all. But that's the reason why. So apart from that 2-week period, we now have hot water again. But I didn't know that, and it was very interesting to know. But again, it's a bathroom. There's not much else for me to essentially show you. It's got, you know, a sink. You know, it's a bathroom and a shower. Like, it's a bathroom and a shower. So now heading into the kitchen. It's actually very small. Perhaps it doesn't pick it up on the camera. As you can probably tell by now, we do not have an oven, or we do, but it's not installed here. Our oven is actually here, as I knock the kitchen roll over. So that's our oven, microwave, toaster, washing machine. We store our cutlery, pots and pans down here. A tiny little bin down there, a sink, and again, in Russia, this is pretty cool, which we don't tend to leave our drying rack in a cupboard. But as you can tell, there isn't a great amount of space here in the kitchen. So yeah, we also have, you know, our coffee and everything here, pastas and so on, flour. But look, it's a pretty standard kitchen. It only has 2 hobs here, and like I've already mentioned, if we do use the oven, we put everything in there, and it's quite small, but it does the job. Our table's relatively small as well, but like I say, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. There's 2 of us in here, so it doesn't really have to be very big at all. And then we have our fridge. And it's a fridge, you know, everyone knows what a fridge is. It's not like a really expensive one, obviously, but it's a fridge. And this is the view outside. It's right at the front of the apartment complex. And yeah, I like having the trees outside. I don't know, it's just kind of nice. And I just want to say as well, we could have probably spent a little bit more on this apartment. Well, not on this apartment, but our living expenses. But I'm not really someone who needs to have all the flashy, you know, new up-to-date modern technology of the washing machine and the nice kitchen and all of that kind of stuff. I can live below my means, well below my means, and this price of the apartment fitted my way of life, if that makes sense. Because I feel like in the West we have probably too much comfort and too much convenience. And when you walk into a place like this Soviet apartment, for example, as soon as you walk through that door downstairs, you'll be like, oh, this is a bit raw, this is a bit brutal. But once you come inside, it's quite nice actually. And I'm not sure if I showed you the flooring, but it's, you know, relatively similar to what we have in the UK. I don't know. It's just a normal apartment, really. So let's head into the living room. And this is the living room that we don't necessarily use very much. Yeah, it's relatively big, to be honest. In fact, I do believe it is the biggest room in the apartment. And yeah, it's very big. So this is me sitting down on the sofa. And yeah. I didn't mention at the start of the video, apart from the desk here, the microwave and another desk in the apartment, pretty much it was all, it came with everything in the apartment. So we didn't have to pay for a sofa. We didn't have to pay for a bed in there. We didn't pay for the television or the table in the kitchen and so on. But this is the balcony. This is acting as a storage area for the time being. But regardless, I just love seeing the nature. I don't know. It's just very nice. But that's pretty much it. That's the balcony. This is the living room. And time to show you the bedroom now. It's just a normal bedroom, it's not cool. I forgot to show you before we go into the bedroom actually. As you walk into the apartment, there's a cupboard. This is my cupboard, my wardrobe. I just got my clothes in. And at the bottom there, it's a standard wardrobe. And there's some more storage up here. And up here above the entranceway. So this is where the magic happens, of course. Yeah, it's very simple, small bedroom. Again, so this and this chair didn't come with the apartment, but apart from that, everything else did. So we have a big, I think this is this a king size, or this might be a queen size bed? But we have a TV, and I quite like, again, the nature looking outside the window. We also have another wardrobe here and storage up there, and it's pretty much the exact same as the previous wardrobe I just showed you. I would love to show you the outside, because there's one issue of this room, as it's quite small and the bed is relatively big. You can't fit down here, but you just walk over the bed. But I want to show you guys outside. And one thing I didn't know about Russia is that there's mosquitoes in the summer, so you have to have like a netting, because I've been bitten about 2-3 times. But I like the view. And yeah, so that's the apartment tour. It's 2 minutes walk from a shop, a big shop. It's in a good place, it's quiet. It's a 10 to 15 minute walk to a train station. The location is a good location. I'm gonna sit down on my desk now and do a breakdown of the costs of living and a comparison to a English apartment that I saw where I used to live as a 1-bedroom apartment, and we'll compare the prices and everything. So as I already mentioned, this is a 1-bedroom apartment, and this costs us per month £346. So on top of the rent, we also have bills like water, gas, and so on, Wi-Fi. That costs us around 8,000 rubles a month, which is, I think, £75. So again, half of £75, you split the costs, right? It's essentially, I don't know, I'll put the numbers on the screen, but it's around £400 a month just to live here, for rent and bills. But obviously you have food on top of that as well. But when you have a dual income, wow. I just want to mention as well, council tax, because I know that's happening in the UK, it's going up. There is council tax in Russia, but it's due to the cost of the apartment. So the average Russian apartment, I believe, is worth £148,000, I believe, as per my research. So if that was the case, if I remember the numbers correctly, I believe for the average priced apartment, the council tax a year would be around £111, which is very cheap compared to the UK, when you have, I think it's like a £300 per month payment that comes out as council tax. So that, again, that's something to think about. I want to show you guys the apartment that was round the corner from where I lived. It's a 1-bedroom apartment, and this 1-bedroom flat was advertised for £1,425 per month. And the reason I say advertised is because when you go and have the meeting to look around the apartment, it never goes for £1,425. It'll probably go for £1,500 or maybe a little bit more, because there's competition to have that flat. There's a little bit of a crisis. People want an apartment in a relatively okay place. And to be honest, it's a similar situation to where I live. There's nearby shops. There's a train station very close by. it's 45 minutes away from London. It's such a similar situation, whereas the price difference is astronomical. And I understand there's different economical factors into play, but £1,425 on the minimum end per month. What the hell? Now, if you compare the pictures to what I've shown you guys here, I think it's really, really crap, to put it lightly. Of course, it's got like a modern kitchen and flooring, but it doesn't even look that big. You know, the kitchen and your living room are essentially the same place. The bedroom is tiny, so I'd say similar size to mine. And you've got, to be honest, the bathroom is much better, but I don't think you could justify spending that much more to have a little bit of a nicer bathroom. And there's the view. You know, you've got your local shop there, and the train station is literally 2 minutes away. So £1,400 a month to live there. I don't know if I could justify that. And I understand why so many people my age in the UK are not moving out, because what you get isn't fucking worth it. No way. So anyway, that's all I wanted to show you. That is my apartment. That is what a real Russian apartment looks like. If you're interested, if you can get past the brutality of the Soviet apartment buildings, why not keep watching the videos, because I am releasing a really in-depth PDF on how you can get to Russia and avoid all of the complications I'm going through with regards to applying for a residency here, because it is the most, I don't even know how to explain. It is the most, it's not even complicated. It is complicated, but it's hard. It's so hard. So if you're interested, keep watching. I'm trying my best to get all the information I can into this document. So if you're interested, stick around. And yeah, thanks for watching.